Alright, so first and foremost, I'm going to start off by saying Barakathon, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. And I want to give all honor and glory to, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honor unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 Shalom. Alright, so not going to rush it, but try to make it as fairly quick as I can. So, like I mentioned before, we're in fall count, getting the works done, you know, get the works done, before, because it's been a busy schedule, so try to get the work done, before practice, beginning of the day, to keep the consistency, But, Lord willing, just want to go into today, Esau controls the narrative right now. And I was on watching the Elder Pastor Rumline lesson. You want to say he posted it a few days ago, right? Or probably like a day ago. I find time to, get into the study. I go back and watch it. And as I was just watching it, even just now before I saw this lesson, he was going into how, like, things were interpreted when they translated things from the Hebrew into, the language now, they switch a lot of things around in the meaning of these words, and they make them into the understanding of their understanding, not into the understanding of Yahweh Shah, right? Matter of fact, first precept that come to mind because things like the Gentiles, for instance, Elder Pastor Ramlan was just mentioning how those Gentiles back then were translated, understanding there was Israelite foreigners. But today they try to use that as just referring to the other nations. And he was going into, like, the virgin, Yahweh Shai, right? Being born through a virgin, right? And that virgin just meaning, a young woman who's of age of marriage, right? And if you understand back then, these women wasn't having that stigma how these women have today, sleeping with 4 or 5 men, because men wouldn't want them. That's adultery. Should be known as a whore, right? So a woman is a virgin. Of course, she was a virgin, but in the day that was a woman of age. There was a woman of age who there was a woman who's a young woman who's of age of marriage or whatnot, right? But let's go over to 1 Corinthians real fast, right? 1 Corinthians 2 and it's verse 7. It says, "But we speak." Let's turn this off so interruption. Slack for notification. It says, "But we speak the wisdom of Yahweh in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Yahweh ordained for the world to our glory." Right? Because, matter of fact, like I'm gonna read verse 6. It says, Howbeit we speak the wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, because the wisdom of this world is foolish to the Most High, right? The wisdom of this world is foolish to the Most High, because things that Esau put out, they make it seem like they're so smart and they have the wisdom of Yahweh Shah, but they don't. They create the curriculums. You got to go to college. You got to get these degrees. You got to study this and that, take these classes, these professors to understand how to break down the scriptures, the prophecy, and whatnot, but you don't, right? Because, the scriptures tell us, right? 1 Corinthians 1, and it's like, bear with me. What is that? Right here, verse 26, it says, "For see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called." Because you don't have to be no scholar, no 2 degrees, no things. That's what I want to say. Paul, the only one who really had, like degrees and whatnot. I got it in my nose. Yeah, Paul the only one who had an education, right? I don't want to put it. The rest of them was noble men who would be considered, plain man, who would be considered common man, wake up, go to work, things. Because most of the time, you don't have to have no degrees, no things that such to understand his knowledge. His knowledge comes through the Spirit and probably how about Yahweh Shah. This thing is revealed unto us. That's why it's a gift to have this faith, right? I'm gonna read verse 27. It says, "But Yahweh had chosen the foolish things as well as to confound the wise," because Esau put the curriculum as if they're just the wise, the smartest. Germans is the smartest of Esau. That's why Scripture said has wisdom left teeming, right? But it says he used the foolish things to work out, because we're the foolish. We the ones who seem like we're preaching bull crap. We the ones who seem like we're teaching nonsense. We the ones who seem like we don't know what we talking about. But the Spirit comes to us from Yahweh Shah, and we use these things to confound the wise. That's how we're exposing Esau, because his tactics, his ways he used to, his tactics and his ways he's using to be a stumbling block to the 2/3. He can't do that to the elect. The elect is pointing out the truth on them, right? Because we know the lie. We know the lies they're putting out, right? It says, "And Yahweh has chosen the weak things of the world," talking about the elect. It's just the truth, because we consider weak, right? to confound they which are mighty, right? I want that. Bear with me. I want that wisdom of the world is foolish to the Most High. Yeah, right here. 1 Corinthians 3:19. It says, "For the wisdom of this world is foolish with Yahweh. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness." Right? Because the things that Esau using, right, these tactics, even ChatGPT, right? I had to mention a lie. One day, the pastor he was doing a lesson, right? And he typed in, is Edomites considered the wicked, right? And ChatGPT brought up Malachi 1:4, Malachi 4:1, things as such, right? It's referring to the scripture showing that the Edomites are the wicked, right? So then, even when he was typing in, it hit me in the spirit, right? So is he saying that? He typed in, so Job 9:24, the earth is in the hands of the wicked. Who runs the earth? Right? So these they try to make everything digital things, all these things trying to use, right? It's Most High is going to confound the thing. The same thing they use to build up the confuse and be a stumbling block to the Jake. The Most High is going to use that against them to take them down, right? Because it's prophecy that Esau is going to be exposed, and they've been exposed, right? They're being made bare right now every day. So you have the 16 million truth, the elect men, right? They hopefully elect the 144,000 who's out here prophesying. He's prophesying the downfall of this kingdom, but also, giving warning to Jake, man. And we give warning to Jake by telling, hey, how about y'all going to destroy you? Got the way of Esau. He's a wicked man. Got the way of so-called white man. It's a wicked man, right? So going from there, I got some precepts that I want to go to. Well, I just quoted Job 9:24. I go to Job 13. Job 13:4, it says, "But ye are forces of liars, ye are all for this of no value." And that goes all the way back to the garden, man. That goes all the way back to Christopher Columbus, right? With them coming over here acting like they don't know why they came over here for a reason. It's that enterprise. They needed a place to establish the new world order, right? That's why today in America they pushing that new world order. They needed a place to establish that. So them coming over here to America, they knew what they was going, because they came over here. The northern tribes, the northern kingdom was already over here. They knew what they was coming over here for. They ain't just ride on no boat and just happy to see a piece of land and stop. They knew where they was going, right? But they used these things to try to confound and twist up Jake's mind, right? That's the easy way they could control him. How Jake in the bind, how Jake confused, right? So where else want to go through from there? Habakkuk 2, right? Because that's why you understand. That's why Peter mentioned, right, when you come into the truth, you're like into babes. Paul mentioned it as well, right? What was that? 1 Corinthians 3:1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, right. 1 Corinthians 3:1 says, "And our brethren could not speak unto you as a slacker, and our brethren could not speak unto you as unto spiritual," because this truth is spiritual. The things we understand are spiritual things. Reincarnation, all these things are spiritual things that the world won't be able to understand because they don't have the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. You hear a lot of people today talking about they very spiritual, all this and that. Well, they not dealing with the spirit. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah is not dealing with them, right? Because those 2/3, those stumbling blocks that the Most High used to sift and separate his elect, man, to keep his people, to keep his elect away from this world. Because a lot of these people are Jake and corrupted unawares, man, right? It says, "But as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Mashiach," because when you first come to the truth, we can't just automatically throw the reincarnate, all these, the deep things onto you. You have to come into baby, you have to desire that sensitive milk. Right? He said, "I have fed you with milk and not with meat," because when you're a babe, in order for you to get your nutrients, your protein, the things you need to grow up to a strong man, you feast on milk, right? And it's like it's the truth, right? That milk is the fundamental building blocks and the discipline, the consistency to becoming a spiritual man. How about putting off that old man, growing into a spiritual man? It says, "For hitherto you were not able to bear it, neither are you not able. For ye are yet carnal. For whereas there is among you envy and strife, divisions, are ye not carnal and walk as men?" Right? So I gotta remind those, right? You can't get past the milk stage, right? Right? if you can't get past the milk stage, the discipline, the correction, learning, right? You ain't gonna grow in this truth, basically. Like better words, I read my notes, just paraphrasing it, right? But if you can't get past this stage right here, design that sense in milk says, for are ye yet carnal? For whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are you not carnal and walk as men? But you gotta walk on that spiritual path. You gotta walk as a spiritual man, right? Design that sense in milk. Because if you can't understand the small things in the truth, you're not gonna be able to understand the deep things of reincarnation. Esau going into slavery, the parables of things that Yahweh shall speak in, right? It says if you can't get past the milk state, the discipline, the correction, the learning, the things you learn as you grow in this truth, the milk is talking about the fundamental building blocks to build you up into a spiritual man once again, right? So going from there, let's go to Habakkuk 2, right? And this is verse 4. It's like it. Right? It says, behold. I want to read verse 4 in the T, because I want you to see where it goes into the pride, man. How Esau walk around that pride, because they control the narrative. They control what you think about. Think about it in the school. Think about all these kids now in college using Chat GPT and whatnot. Right? Esau control that narrative of what's being put out, what's being taught. Right? Just as well as like just for instance, right? They don't teach 100% truth in the history, but just for instance, when I was when the school in Syracuse, I had a class called Critical Whiteness, and we went in big on around that time. It was around like 2022 in Florida. They had stopped teaching African American studies. They shut it out. They don't teach that no more, right? So this is it's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 4. Right? It says, look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to Yahweh. The righteous is who's the elect, the hopefully elect. I mean, you're going to strive and do the will of Yahweh, let the spirit of Yahweh lead them. But that pride is who? That pride is Esau, Edom, man. Right? They trust in themselves. Now they understand, they trust in all of it. Right? They created something like they can live in their lives, man. Right? They can live in their lives so much, how much they done created them. Right? So let's read verse 5, right, in the KJV, right? It says, yeah, also because he transgresses by wine. That's what I want to go into, that wine, man. Right? I want to go into that wine, right? So I want to go into that wine. It says, yeah, because he transgresses by wine, he's a proud man. And that wine is what Revelations 17, Revelations 18 is talking about, man. Right? How the nations are drunk out the fornication. It's like, let's read it real fast. Revelation 17 and 2. It says, with the whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. They've been made drunk with the wine. They've been made drunk with this knowledge to understand. When you're drunk, you're staggered. Right? What is the matter of fact? Wine is a strong. Let's see if I can find this precept real fast. Yeah, right here. Proverbs 20:1. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging. Whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Right? So wine is a mocker, because when you drink too much wine, you get drunk, you become, you basically you're man, you can't receive nothing. You're staggered. You can't walk on a narrow path. You can't walk on that narrow path, because the scriptures tell you it stands on the right, it stands on the left. Right? So you trying to walk on that narrow passage, guess what's going to happen? Right? You're going to slip. You're going to fall, because you're drunk. You drink out that fornication of Babylon. You drink out that fornication of Esau, Edom. Right? You fall after their ways, their customs, which is not the custom of Yahweh. You so deep into their knowledge, you think you know something. Right? He says wine produces mockers. Alcohol leads to brawls. Those led astray by a drink cannot be wise. Right? You cannot be wise because you drunk out that fornication of Babylon, man. Right? You're confused, man. Right? Ever seen a drunk man? Hey, what? That's how you is. They drunk off that wine, that fornication, the knowledge to understand the Esau professed, Esau push. Right? And that's why the Most High is not dealing with them. That's why he said when people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. But Esau controls that narrative, and the Most High clearly tells us day by day, right? Hey, Hey, don't follow these people, don't follow these ways. Let's go back to the Roman Catholic Church. They put out these religions, they put out these doctrines and things so they can confuse the people, so they can carouse the people, so they can make people look. Paul said it, right? You have sons who teach you envy and strife to add affliction to my bonds. They try to make it seem like Paul teaching bullshit, right? So we end with this precept right here, right? It says, yeah, also because he transgressed about wine, he's a proud man. Either keep it at home and Lord his desire is hell, but right, because he go all over the earth trying to put everybody into these curriculums, right? It says, and it is as death, but he cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, he put unto him all people, right? Hey, J-Bo still in there? J-Bo still in there? I see you in there right now. Right, but understanding, it's like excuse I'm a teammate, but right, it says, read my notes real fast. It said the one part of their philosophies, a part of their ways, right? That America pushes on the world for them to accept morality in order to receive benefit. All the rules of the nations are complicit with it, and we know that through the scriptures, Revelation 17, as I just read, right? So they go all over the planet, right? You see, as I said, right? As you read, he said he's a proud man, need to keep it at home. They're going everywhere. But Lord, his desire is hell, right? Because they want to take over the whole earth. If it's up to them, they'll take over the whole earth, man, right? But it cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap unto him all people, right? So just for lack of time, Lord willing, but for lack of time, we'll finish this later. So with that being said, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, and Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles, elders, a great millstone, and shout out to the whole elect. Total 144,000, other one.